Good morning, everybody. I didn't hear a lot of you. Can I get another one? Good morning. All right. Just want to make sure that we're all awake because it's early. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Adriana Garcia. I am the co-owner of Got It All Insurance Agency. I am also heavily involved with the Stanislaus Latino Chamber of Commerce. We work on empowering our businesses, our business community, and this helps us enhance our county's economic health and well-being. I also serve on several boards. City Ministry Network happens to be one of them, and I always proudly joke about being the guinea pig for LLI, Latino Leadership Initiative. And as a product, now I am so just proud to be able to help support the masterminds behind it on this other end. So those are just some of the things that I do. And today, I have the honor of welcoming you to our May Catalyst event. It's truly wonderful to see so many leaders from all different sectors. I see a lot of familiar faces, so it's always refreshing so early in the morning. Stanislaus County, we have so many unique perspectives, and we still choose to come together for the benefit of our community. So the purpose of Catalyst is to provide a safe space, safe community for conversations and connections that matter and inspire. Our hope today for all of you at Catalyst and all our other gatherings is that you begin to build trust, that you will continue to work together to impact our community for everyone's benefit. Also, our hope is that you will connect with others who share your vision and passion. So I'd like to encourage you all to connect with us right now. If you are not following us on all our social media, please do so. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check in, like us, all of the good stuff. And let the community know that you are here. Let the community know about Catalyst, and let's get some more people in here. Also, I am asking that each of you sign in. There's some sign-in sheets on the table. So if we can all sign your names, let's continue to stay connected. Let's see. We are very grateful to have all of you here today. We are grateful for your time, and we are grateful that you chose to be with us this morning. I also want to thank some of our sponsors. Sponsors are the heartbeat of all nonprofit organizations. So thank you to the sponsors who make Catalyst possible through their generous support. And we would like to highlight today Oak Valley Community Bank for their sponsorship. As a local bank, they are dedicated to cultivating lifelong customers by executing a unique brand of relationship services. They participate and develop the individuals and drive their commitments to continually improve, optimizing investors, returns, and enriching communities that we live in. So we are ready to scan our QR code. We have You guys are allowed to use your phone right now, and you can send your quick emails or check your, whatever you have to do. But also, please go ahead and scan the QR code and answer the following questions. So, which is your favorite section of the newspaper? That's it. I don't see anything yet. Okay, we're waking up 2 participants. Local news. All right. Local news. Comics. Who said comics? There you are. Funnies. I like those. All right. Local news is winning. Sports. Sports. Ooh, events. Things happening locally. We have so many things happening locally. All right, did we get everybody? Entertainment. All right. Free items. Free is always good. All right, I think we got most of you. If you haven't responded, please do so. So before we hear from our speakers today, I wanted to spend some time and letting you guys kind of get to know each other, who you're sitting with at the tables. Around your tables, there will be 2 questions that you guys can discuss amongst each other. And please make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to speak. And let's get into that right now. Hi, guys. Did everybody get to speak at their tables? Do we have any complaints? Somebody talk too much? All right. So I am going to introduce our guest speakers. Joe Kita. Yes, I was practicing. He is the executive director of the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. He has more than 2 decades of experience as an innovative editor, leading newsrooms in California and across the United States, including 3 in Central Valley. There's the Fresno Bee, Modesto Bee, and Merced Sun-Star. He was one of the youngest daily newspaper editors in the county when he joined the Sun-Star in 2001. He quickly transformed for the newsroom into one of the best of its size in the state by focusing on aggressive, truth-telling journalism, digital innovation, and community coverage. Later, while serving as the executive editor of the Fresno Bee, he led the creations of philanthropic-funded reporting labs that added journalism, covering such issues as education and diverse communities. In May 2023, he was honored as one of the, please hold. He was honored as one of the editor and publishers magazine editors extraordinaire for the leadership and work to diversify the Bee's news staff. We also have Victor. Victor Patton is the editor-in-chief of the Modesto Focus. His career as a daily journalist began as a reporter for the Orange County Register. He worked for many years as an editor for newspapers, including the Fresno Bee, San Francisco Examiner, the Modesto Bee, and also the Merced Sun-Star. Victor sits on the board of the Northern California chapter of Society of Professional Journalists. His stories have also appeared in publications like the San Jose Mercury News, the Sacramento Bee, San Diego City Beat, Sacramento News, and reviews on the Sacramento Observer. So please help me welcome Joe and Victor up to the stage.
Thank you. And go. Victor. I have to tell you, it's absolutely wonderful to be here today and to see all of you and to be in Modesto. I lived here for almost 8 years when I was editor of the Modesto Bee, and love this place and very excited about what we're doing here, and we're going to be telling you a little bit more about that today. I also am really happy to be here with Victor. He worked with me at the Modesto Bee and also at the Fresno Bee, and is an incredible journalist and a partner as we've done projects all throughout the valley. So as you heard from our introductions, both Victor and I have been editors and working in the newspaper industry for an awfully long time now. During the time that we've been in this industry, it has undergone some incredible changes. And I kind of like look at my journey when I started out. I was editor of the Merced Sun-Star from 2001 to 2008. And during that time, I lived through what a former McClatchy CEO called peak newspaper. That was 2006, and that's when we were at the absolute height of the number of people that we had in our newsrooms, in the number of people who we reached, the circulation of the printed newspaper. That was the peak. And ever since 2006, the newspaper industry has been shrinking. It's been in a contraction that has really continued unabated to this day. And this is important. I mean, lots of industries change, and lots of industries shrink because technology and times change. People have different ways of paying for different things or different things that they do. But what happens with information and news at the local level, how do you know about what's happening in Modesto? You know, basically, by what was the foundational news source here. It's the Modesto Bee. That's how you find out what's happening in your community. That's how truth to power is spoken. It's how a community has a conversation with itself so that it could debate in a sane way its alternative futures. And so this is a really important thing in what has happened. And so what has happened with the news industry during this time is basically we've kind of gone through an earthquake. Since 2006, the change has been pretty incredible. When I started as editor of the Modesto Bee in 2012, we had, I believe, at one point, 62 people in the newsroom. Now that number is much smaller. I think they're just at about 10. And so that change has really substantially impacted local communities in ways that are really hard to determine because people have different ways of getting information today. I'm sure every one of you has a smartphone in your pocket, and you're zipping through that all the time. You're watching Reels and TikToks and on Facebook, and there's a lot competing for news and information today. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what has happened. So basically, the current journalism landscape, and this is nationally, not just here. So this is not unique to Modesto, but more than half of U.S. counties now lack a reliable news source. And basically 2 or more newspapers are lost each week, and that's nationally. And this is all documented in the Medill Northwestern University Local News Initiative survey that they did in 2023. The one thing that is unique to this community is the media market here. And this is something that, when I was editor of the Modesto Bee, I was very acutely aware of. So in this community, the media market is basically in Sacramento, and it stretches over to Stockton and then down all the way to Turlock and through Modesto. And so when people watch television news, they're getting news here from Sacramento. And television news has not been immune to the changes in the industry as well. And so what has happened is basically there's almost no coverage of this community. And when I was editor at the Bee here, it was reflective to me of how important the local newspaper is to the local conversation here, because there really isn't a lot coming from TV news, which in maybe other communities that would be the case. And that's the same thing in Merced, where we operate a local news operation there, where the media market there is in Fresno. So obviously there's this huge problem, and we have obviously an issue with local news and not having enough of it in the Valley. And so that's how the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative was born. It was founded by the James B. McClatchy Foundation in 2021, and its aim is to protect, sustain, and grow the local news ecosystem in the entire Central Valley. So what we're doing basically is we're not just creating newsrooms in different communities, but we're also serving as a superstructure to help elevate the local news environment in communities. Like, for example, Fresno has a more robust media environment. We've added positions there for reporters, but we also do a lot in the community there to help train journalists and help improve their skill sets. And then in some communities, we do serve as a news publisher, and that is what we do now in Merced with the Modesto Focus. So here's our mission, vision, and goals. So CVJC's mission statement is, we grow local news for and from the Valley to help you live a healthy and informed life. And our vision statement is to spark the conversations that shape the Central Valley's future. So we really want to partner and continuously learn about the communities that we serve and to help them have that conversation with themselves and help foster strong, truth-telling journalism. So I wanted to ask Victor Patton here to talk a little bit about what we do at the Merced Focus. So basically what CVJC has done is we've launched a newsroom in Merced, and he's going to tell you a little bit about some of the content that we do there and how we've added back to the news environment in that community.
Good morning. I'm glad to meet with everyone here today. Just a little bit about myself first. I first came to Merced in 2006. I was the higher education reporter for the Merced Sun-Star. And Merced Sun-Star, as you know, is owned by the McClatchy Company. And after joining the Sun-Star over the years, I've worked at several other McClatchy publications, from the Modesto Bee, the Sacramento Bee, and I've also edited other smaller publications in the Valley, like the Los Banos Enterprise. And, you know, so basically I just wanted to give you an idea. I have a pretty good sense about the news that happens here in the Valley. And I decided to join CVJC because of what they were doing in Merced, and it was giving us really an opportunity to do several things. First, being able to focus on what are people talking about in this community? What are the issues, sort of like the zeitgeist, right? The thing that people are, the water cooler talk. We also want to focus on government transparency, what's happening at the local city council level and board of supervisors. But then also, who are the vibrant people in the community that are doing extraordinary things and making the community a great place to live. These are just sort of a sampling of some of the stories that we've had since we launched the Merced Focus a year ago. And I would encourage everyone to go to our website, www.themercedfocus.org, to see what we're up to and sign up for our newsletter. It's absolutely free. You know, we've had stories on, with what happened with the flood in Planada. There's $20 million that the state gave to help rebuild the community there. So we took a look at what's happening there. We've had a story about Merced City Schools, the largest school district in Merced County, and there was a critical report that looked at what was happening in the district in terms of some of the issues some of the employees were mentioning there. some other things. And the Merced Mall for a long time. The Merced Mall is funny, is a huge issue for people because it's right in the center of town there. And, a really popular place in the 80s and 90s. And then after a while, foot traffic kind of slowed down, especially in this era of, Amazon and so forth. People are wondering, what's going to happen with the Merced Mall and what's going on with this place? And we broke the story about, when it was sold and had the story about what was going to happen. I mean, that story, I think, got over 30,000 views, which is pretty great. We had stories about air pollution, obviously a big issue for the valley. And we had stories about the local city council there, some of the issues with some of the members, that people have questions about. So these are some of the things that we want to bring to Modesto. Like I mentioned, talking about, government transparency, but also focusing on what makes Modesto such a great place to live and a vibrant place to live, and talking about the people that make it such a dynamic place, and also just talking about the different groups that make our community a great place, because the Valley is very unique and a great place to tell stories. So we want to bring that unique and vibrant storytelling to Modesto, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Victor. And so we are starting the Modesto Focus, and very excited about this with a transformational grant from the Stanislaus Community Foundation. We are hoping to launch the Modesto Focus this year, July or August, and we will have a staff of 4 journalists here covering local news. And as Victor was talking about, what we really want to do is we want to tell the stories of this community. There's so much that's happening here that is uncovered, and we have an opportunity to tell those stories in a profound way and connect with as many people as possible. We also have an opportunity to tell stories that really help uplift the community in ways that maybe aren't happening right now. So when I was at McClatchy, one of the things that we did is we went through something called a newsroom reinvention. And what we did there is we decided what we weren't going to cover anymore because we didn't have as many reporters as we had previously. And so a lot of content stopped being created. A lot of it was features content, the kind of stuff that really puts a smile on your face. We want to help return some of that. And that's what we could do with the power of what we want to do with the Modesto Focus. And we also want to continue to fulfill the role that every good news organization has, and that is to speak truth to power in the community. It's important that we hold our leadership to account, that we ask them tough questions, and that we are there to have that conversation with the community so that we could debate our alternative futures and have a safe place to do that. And online, sometimes it's not very safe. Sometimes it's very negative. Comments are terrible. People get in arguments. That's not what we want to do with Modesto Focus. Modesto Focus will be there for this community to have that conversation in a way that is constructive and helps push the community forward. So here's our logo, and the QR code here, if you click on that, put your camera up to that, it will take you to our current landing page. And on there, if you could add your email on that page, that would be fantastic. So we could keep you informed about the updates as we continue to build out Modesto Focus. Here's a snapshot of what we're looking at in terms of how the site will look. Still working through some of the design of this. And also, it will be reaching you in many ways. It isn't just through the website, but also through emails and also on social media. We're going to try to get as large an audience as we can. And also, it isn't just going to be what I would call, the old-fashioned notepad reporter. We want all of our reporters to be able to create content in multimedia. And that's how we have developed partnerships with news organizations all throughout the Valley and throughout the state with the existing news operations that we have today. And that has helped us expand our audience. So here's kind of a flow chart of how things will work in terms of the staff. We will have an editor-in-chief and an audience engagement rep, and then also 3 reporters: an accountability reporter, a bilingual community issues reporter, and a general assignment reporter. And this staff will work very closely with our Health Equity Reporting Lab. So we are already here. And Marika Rowland is here today. Say hello. And Marika is already creating news and content out of Stanislaus County as part of our Health Equity Reporting Lab in partnership with our new website called The Intersection, and also with our partners. So here's kind of the timeline. We're in the process right now of hiring staff. We've had our positions listed for a couple of months now. We're interviewing people, and hopefully we'll be making a decision soon on who we want to hire. We want to launch Modesto Focus in the Q3 of this year. And then we also are in the process right now of putting together a community advisory panel. That panel is going to meet on May 29th, so later this month. And we're going to be embedding very deeply in this community. And we're also in the process of hiring someone who is going to be a community ambassador for the Modesto Focus. And that person is going to be brought on board soon, and will be out in the community talking to people and gathering as much information as we can to figure out how we can make Modesto Focus meet the needs of this community. And I also wanted to point out that we're already here. We've already done work in Modesto. Besides the Health Equity Reporting Lab, we had and sponsored a debate last year for the congressional district here. And it was District 13 versus John Duarte and Adam Gray. We basically packed the house at the State Theater for this debate. And then we also forged partnerships with news organizations all across the valley and across the state and across the country to basically broadcast this debate. So we have a very strong partnership right now with Cap Radio out of Sacramento. And we speak with them almost every day, and we share all of our content. And a good example is the work that Marika and our Health Equity Reporting Lab are doing. Their content will be picked up on Cap Radio, but they also produce fully produced radio stories that air on Cap Radio. And then also we make appearances on Cap Radio continuously. I think, Marika, you've been on Insight, which is their flagship program that they have every afternoon I think it's at noon, at least 2 or 3 times, or maybe 4 times now. And so that has been a way for us to reach audiences that we would maybe not have reached before. And I know that Cap Radio is very interested in serving Modesto better than it does today. And so we are going to help facilitate that and move that forward. And this is very similar to what we've done already in Merced. So in Merced, with the Merced Focus, we have partnered with the public radio station out of Fresno. And they have one reporter who is embedded in with the Merced Focus. And her content then airs on the air on KVPR, but then also will be picked up all across the state. And so I am frequently in Modesto, so I'm still live in Fresno, but I've been driving up here very frequently. And just 2 weeks ago, I was driving up here listening to public radio, and Rachel, our reporter out of the Merced Focus, had one of her stories about college affordability that was on the California Report. So it airs all over the state. And so this partnership is a way for us to really help build an audience for the work that we do. The other thing that's super important to make this happen is basically all of you in this room, and that is to be that audience. And when I put up this, I'm going to switch to the next slide here. That QR code is helps us. If you add your email to that, it helps us communicate directly with you, and then also get our content out as widely as possible. One of the challenges of starting a news operation is to build that audience. And so we are going to be working very hard to spend time with all of you, hearing what you want out of the Modesto Focus, and then also having that as a two-way communication line. And we're going to need to hear feedback about the work that we do, and then also about the work that you want us to do. Our community advisory panel will help with that, but we also want to do a lot more in the community. I think every news organization has a convening power that is very powerful, and we intend to use that with the Modesto Focus so that we could get people together, whether it's just small community gatherings, coffee with a reporter to talk about a story, or something bigger, a community event that celebrates a big success or something. That is what the power of a local news organization can bring to a community to get people together to talk about the issues at hand. And so we really want to take that opportunity that we have right now and make the absolute most of it. And the only way that's going to happen well is if all of you are with us and then also communicative to us. Let us know when we've done great work. Tell us about things that are happening. The most important piece of journalism and the most important thing that any reporter can do is to have great sourcing. And so we intend on embedding as deeply as we can in this community and building your trust. That's the only way a local news operation, I think, is going to be able to work in 2025 and beyond. You know, we have to have trust that what we're telling you is the truth. We have to be transparent about how we go about our business so that people understand that when they read something in the Modesto Focus, it's factual. They need to understand the processes that we go through to create news. And so all that transparency is going to be baked in to the work we do at the Modesto Focus. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited about it. And I know you feel the same way too, Victor. I know he's been at my side throughout this entire process and as we build this. And I know that we're all very excited about what we can bring to this community and how we could help propel local news in a community that really desperately needs it. And so we're super excited about all that. Do you have anything else, Victor?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing that I think has been very effective for me is being in Merced and just going to coffee with folks from all walks of life, seeing what's on their mind, seeing the things, talking about the things that are important to them. That's what we're going to be doing here in Modesto, is we're going to have reporters that are talking to all of you, just having conversations. And, that's how we find out, just as Joe said, a reporter is only as good as their sources. And the source really is all of you here, people that live in Modesto, that can really let us know what's important to you. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to. And, yeah.
We also, the other thing, too, is that we really want to serve the entire county as well. And there are a lot of communities all throughout Stanislaus County that are pretty much uncovered. And we will not be able to cover everything, but we also need to keep an eye on what's happening all throughout our county. If there's a big story out of Patterson, we need to cover it. And that's going to be part of why we built in a general assignment reporter into the staff that we want to have at the Modesto Focus. So, typically a general assignment reporter at a newspaper is kind of like the entry-level position. That is not what this position is. This is a job for an experienced reporter who's going to be able to do multiple things and is not constrained to a specific beat. And covering the county is going to be incredibly important as well. So I don't want anybody to think that it's just going to be Modesto. Obviously, we're starting out here, but we will be building up so that we are able to cover important issues that are happening all throughout Stanislaus County. And it's a community that really needs this coverage. And if you look at what's happened with the local news environment, small communities in Stanislaus and Merced counties have really lost their local news sources, especially small weekly newspapers. A lot of them are gone. And so those communities really aren't having that coverage. And so what happens in that vacuum, basically, bad things happen. People, rumors and inaccurate information flows on social media. People are still connected, but they're not getting that important factual local news that helps a community create its future together in a way that makes sense for everybody and that it's sane.
I guess that means our
I
time's
think we're
almost
done.
up.
Yeah. I see the clock is ticking. We got 21 seconds. So, thank you. It's a pleasure to see all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I believe. We'll be back here.
Uh-oh. Watch out, Joe. All right. How are you guys feeling? That was a lot, right? That's a lot of good stuff. So like Marvin mentioned, they are going to be in the back for those questions, and they're going to be sticking around. So if you guys want to pick their brains or learn a little bit more about them. So again, I just want to say thank you guys for being here. And we will go into our second set of questions. So again, table discussion. Make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to talk, and the questions will be on the screen.
Thanks, Joe, Victor, thank you, and Marika, I get it right, is here too, and thanks for all you being here. Now, Randy Clark did ask a question. We have them in the back, so you line up with your questions, you go see them, and get some time answering any questions and thoughts and concerns. So I want to thank them for being here, and so I want to thank you. Marianne, if you come on up. I've asked my friend Marianne from the Stanislaus Community Foundation, you want to stand right there? Sure. To just tell us, what was your thinking behind the impetus to get this thing going?
Sure, thanks, Marvin. Freedom of the press is the only sector enshrined in our Constitution. It's the only call out from our forefathers of the sacredness of the press and how vital it is to a healthy, functioning democracy, but also at the community level. We know, and there's lots of data out there, I encourage you to look into it, that when a local newspaper covers adequately its community, bond measures get passed, public health issues are, addressed, public officials, as Joe said, are held accountable, and then the sense of identity and connection and meaning making as a community is truly fostered. So the Stanislaus Community Foundation commissioned a landscape analysis to understand locally how do people get their news. And most of it we realized they were getting from their social media feeds, which is an inherently dangerous echo chamber because you can just find the things that confirm your own bias. And we're seeing that right now across the country as well. So the Community Foundation conducted the landscape analysis, did a series of focus groups, and came out of that with a series of investments that we are now making. One is a multi-year grant to Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. We're very proud to support this work. I think you'll be very pleased with the quality of what Joe and his team are going to do. We certainly have already seen that in Merced. We are also funding paid internships for MJC and Stan State digital media students, not just to intern at CVJC and the Modesto Focus, but other outlets in the community. And we have a grant cycle opening up on May 30th. All of this funding is coming from our Civic Solutions Fund. For existing media outlets, whether it's podcast, if there's something going on in the community that's local, blogs, we want to fund those too. So a grant cycle is opening up at the end of May, and we encourage you to check that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Good job. Good job. Thank you. I was telling Victor in the back as well, I have some friends in Merced. And there was, and 5 different situations where they just said the Merced Focus, and I told Victor was fair. And I'm so grateful for that. But I was telling the men in the back, I came away somber from this conversation. And it was nothing to do with them. Some of it has to do with the attack on what's happening in the news and And this whole sense about all of us, about crisis of trust and distrust of established institutions, everybody everywhere is getting it, everywhere. And of course, we're, whether it's nonprofits or whether it's the media, we all are guilty in some ways and sometimes. But it came away somber, and here's the reason why. Thomas Jefferson said this: whenever the people are well informed, they may be trusted with their own government. Thomas Jefferson. And I wondered, are we responsible enough to actually do our own homework, to do critical thinking, to not just be so caught up in our own algorithms that I'm only hearing what I want to hear? And maybe I've gotten lazy, and I've just trusted other voices to keep telling me things that I just want to hear. This has nothing to do with Victor today and Joe. This is about us as citizens. Being able to think through news and information in critical ways. Learning how to do some critical thinking. Being discerning. Listening to different and reading different sites and different perspectives so you get the whole thing. But I came away somber because it's not about the media. For me, it's about us. What has happened to us? So that's that. And I know in every industry, I grew up worshiping the LA Times, and then you start hearing stories and on all the background stories and all the politics that went with decisions that were made, and I think, oh my gosh. So I'm learning too. And we probably have that about in every institution that we interact with. But we need the free press. We need a press that operates with integrity and without any outside pressures and voices. We'll fund you, the stories about we'll fund you if you don't tell this story, if you don't tell that story. We just need the free press. And we need it with integrity. And those of us as citizens, we must know how to think critically and discerning. And we need to not be lazy. And I say we. So when it comes to, again, with Joe, and I know, hearing some of the stories I've heard from Merced with Victor, continue to earn our trust and then treasure our trust. Because I know in our nonprofits, in any institution, once somebody you lose their trust, man, that is hard to get back. So let's all work together on our end of it as citizens. You do your homework. And I say that to myself as well. And as my mother would say, don't be lazy. Or you're lazy. Whatever that would be. And I don't care what side of the spectrum, and I don't care. When Thomas Jefferson said that, whenever the people are well informed, they may be trusted with their own government. With their own government. So let's go get them, Joe, and thank you for being here, and Victor, and I thank you so much for being a part. Let me give you a couple things, and I'm going to let you stick around and talk next month. I'm looking forward to this one. Maybe this will be, maybe I'll come up here happier next time. But in June, we have Sarah Noguchi will be leaving Modesto City Schools. She's been with us 7 years. And so she'll be with us and talking, just sharing with us, passing the torch, leadership, legacy, and the future of our schools here in the area. And if all goes well, we'll have the new superintendent at that time, and we're going to interact with that person, and hopefully they'll be here too, and just give you a chance to get to meet them. So that'll be next month, and I'll know in a couple of days whether that second part can happen. But Sarah will be with us, and looking forward to having her with us. As a nonprofit, just like everybody else, we have fundraisers. We have a golf tournament coming up at the end of June. We'd encourage you, if you have a business and you'd like to be a sponsor, please talk to one of us in the back. Where's Mike is somewhere, but Carlos and John are back there as well, and you could talk to me as well, and for fundraising. But I want to thank you for being with us. I want to thank you for being with us. I know sometimes, I just want to thank you for being with us. And stick around, talk to your friends. There's more coffee in the back. And Joe and Victor will be in the back. And please go over and talk to them. I did let them know that you're all leaders of leaders and that you all know how to have conversations still and not stand in line and just berate somebody. So make sure I'm just going to say that out loud to everybody. 12 o'clock, National Day of Prayer. So if you want to pray for our community and our churches and people, 12 o'clock in the center, in the plaza. Thanks for telling me, Jeremiah. Lord, speaking of National Day of Prayer, we lift up our citizens, our free press, and all those places that just need your encouragement, need your power and your strength. Thanks for the privilege you give us to be here together this time. In my Lord's name I pray. Amen. Joe and Victor in the back. See you guys later.